USY, it is my honor and privilege to present to you our amazing, membership-raising, motivational, sensational, hardworking, never shirking, witty, pretty, influential, presidential, 2010 USY International President Joshua Morgan Block.
Mavet v'chaim biyad lashon. Death and life are in the power of the tongue. There is an incredible majesty and power in words. With just one breath, just one sound, a person can change the entire world. An old story tells of Rebbe Shlomo, an elderly man who was moved to a nursing home after losing his sight, hearing, and sense of smell. Every Friday, just before Shabbat, 3 rabbis who are very loyal to Rebbe Shlomo stop by the nursing home for a visit. The rabbi sits in his chair, opens the window, and instructs the 3 rabbis to describe to him all the sights, sounds, and smells just outside the window as everybody prepares for Shabbat. Each week, the rabbis tell Rebbe Shlomo of the brilliant sunlight and beautiful flowers, the bustle of people on the street wishing one another a Shabbat Shalom, and the smell of warm baking challah in the crisp, fresh air, all just outside the Rebbe's window. As time goes by, the 3 rabbis grow old and pass away, but Rebbe Shlomo remains. One day, he calls in his nurse and asks that she find 3 new men to come in every Friday and tell him about the sun and flowers, the bustle of the street, and the smell of challah baking just outside his window. She satisfies this request, and that Friday, 3 new men come into his room. Rebbe Shlomo opens the window and asks the men to describe to him all the sights, sounds, and smells outside his window. Puzzled, the men respond, "There's nothing there. It's just a brick wall." For Rebbe Shlomo, the words of these 3 rabbis changed his entire world. It didn't matter what was actually outside his window, because the vivid descriptions were enough for him. Throughout history, words have had the power to affect significant change. When Abraham Lincoln called for the emancipation of all slaves in the United States, his words changed the world. When Martin Luther King Jr. famously told the country about the dream he had, his words changed the world. And when Ronald Reagan declared, "Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall," his words changed the world. Words can free people from various types of bondage, and words can give people the power to change their own destinies. When I was just 15 years old, a complete stranger appointed me, in his eyes, a spokesperson for millions. He gave my words the power to change his life. It was the summer of 2007, and as I davened shacharit while watching the sun rise over the Grand Canyon with my wheels bus, a man approached me and asked if I would be willing to answer a few questions. I didn't know if he needed directions or wanted a recommendation for a place to eat. But before I could even say yes, he asked, "Are you like normal people? You know, do you listen to music and stuff like that?" I was stunned, both by the seeming absurdity of his questions and his eagerness to hear the answers. After a series of similar questions, and my assurances that most Jews, in fact, do listen to music, eat in restaurants, watch television, and even speak English, he thanked me for my time and turned away. That morning, more than ever before, I appreciated the potential weight of each word, inflection, and gesture I chose. This man, who had never met me before, was giving me more power than I could possibly have imagined. He didn't see me as a male, a teenager, an American. He defined me by one attribute: my religion. With each question and answer, as my strangeness to him diminished and my admiration of his openness increased, our tones and expressions grew more relaxed. With my words, he gave me the power to alter his lifelong conceptions. After one brief conversation, after only a few words spoken, his view of Judaism was forever changed. That's the power of words. In the introduction to a collection of essays by Abraham Joshua Heschel, entitled Moral Grandeur and Spiritual Audacity, Susanna Heschel, his daughter, writes, "Words," he often wrote, "are themselves sacred. God's tool for creating the universe and our tools for bringing holiness or evil into the world." He used to remind us that the Holocaust did not begin with the building of crematoria, and Hitler did not come to power with tanks and guns. It all began with uttering evil words, with defamation, with language, and with propaganda. Words create worlds, he used to tell me when I was a child. They must be used very carefully. Some words, once having been uttered, gain eternity and can never be withdrawn. The book of Proverbs reminds us, he wrote, that death and life are in the power of the tongue. Words are sacred. Words are a gift. Words enhance our lives every day. They entertain us and they educate us. They resolve disagreements and they bring us together. They have carried joys and successes, trials and tribulations for thousands of years across generations and across cultures. But above all, words can change lives. In Bereshit, we read, "Ha'aretz hayta tohu vavohu, v'choshach al pnei tehom, v'ruach Elohim merachefet al pnei hamayim. V'yomer Elohim yehi or, v'yehi or." The earth was unformed and void, with darkness over the surface of the deep, and a wind from God sweeping over the water. God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. With nothing but words, God created light. We can create light with our words. From small acts like welcoming a new friend into our community, to large acts like taking an active stand against the poverty of the third world, the brutal despotism of Iran, or the types of harassment and intolerance we experience every day, we have endless power and opportunity in our words. Evil is not easily overcome, but every generation of Jews, and indeed every generation of civilized people, have been called upon to try. We have the ability and the responsibility to change the world with our words. Over the past year, I have witnessed the power of words in more ways than I could possibly have imagined. When disaster struck Haiti early this year, a new association was formed. Working with the international presidents of NCSY, BBYO, and NIFTY for the first time in many years, I was a part of the formation of the Coalition of Jewish Teen Leaders, a group aimed at temporarily putting aside our differences and coming together for social action and social justice. Together, representing over 100,000 Jewish teens, we released a joint statement about our united relief efforts in Haiti. Our words made an impact. In May, I was fortunate to have the opportunity to go to the White House and meet with President Obama in honor of Jewish American Heritage Month. As the president spoke to a distinguished group of American Jews, ranging from senators to astronauts to Sandy Koufax, he discussed the crucial contributions that Jews have made and continue to make to the ongoing progress of the United States. And the words of the president, confirming the importance of Jews and of Israel to his administration, made an impact. This summer, I had the opportunity to meet with leaders of Judaism from around the globe at the 36th World Zionist Congress. This Congress, started by Theodor Herzl to work for the creation of the Jewish state, continues today its work towards the betterment of the state of Israel and of the Jewish people. As hundreds of us declared together that the conversion bill is unjust and must not be voted into law, our words made an impact. And the words of Theodore Herzl rung in our ears, Im tirtzu ein zo agada. If you will it, it is no dream. In June, I sat down with the leaders of conservative Jewish youth groups from England, France, Israel, Argentina, Chile, and Brazil to create the first ever international partnership of our organizations. We shared programs, created joint materials, and paved the pathway for future meetings of our leaders. And our words in 4 different languages from 7 different countries, made an impact. And throughout the year, as I visited USYers across the country, I saw the power of words. At several regional spring and fall conventions, I heard the moving stories of Holocaust survivors, people who fought against one of the most tyrannical governments in world history with nothing but their words. When I visited USY on Wheels in California on Tisha B'Av, as we remembered the burning of the temple, we recalled the significance of words to our people. And when, in Poland with pilgrimage, we walked out of Auschwitz-Birkenau in a single file line with our Israeli flags held high, I witnessed the incredible power of silence. In one of my favorite Talmudic stories, we learn about the relationship between Rav Yochanan and Reish Lakish. When Reish Lakish dies, Rav Yochanan is left distraught, feeling as though he is lacking something essential to his well-being. Rav Elazar, a great scholar, tries to comfort Rav Yochanan by substituting for Reish Lakish as his learning companion. Every time Rav Yochanan would give an opinion about anything, Rav Elazar would confirm his statement and praise his brilliance. However, this upset Rav Yochanan, who exclaimed, "Previously, whenever I would give an opinion, Reish Lakish would challenge me with 24 questions. This way, our discussion became enlarged and enhanced. But you just provide me with supporting proofs. Don't I know that my own opinions have merit?" 1 year ago at International Convention, I spoke about new beginnings. I spoke about looking back at the past year and about looking forward to all the opportunities that awaited. But new beginnings can only happen. New doors can only be opened when we challenge the existing order. What made Reish Lakish a great student was his ability to challenge others. And what makes USY a great organization is our ability to challenge ourselves. But just using our words is not enough. We must also choose our words. As Abraham Joshua Heschel astutely observed, words can destroy just as easily as they can create. We must not allow that to happen. With our words, we can challenge injustices and we can create a brighter, stronger future. Toda rabah.